A very common technique, or sometimes I think mistake that's made, and it's very simple, there's a very simple technique to fix this, is tying a tail in that's nice and in line with a hook shank. It's something that often when you wrap thread over the hook shank and start your tail right at the back, there's always that little step between the thread and the hook shank, and if one thread wrap slips off there, it pushes the tail out of position. And there's a very simple way to resolve this problem, and I use this even when I tie saltwater flies on, and you tie hackle in the back or something like that, and you don't want it to be pushed out of line or out of line or from the hook shank or something. So I'm just using a normal grip 12004 hook, size 14, and a 60 thread, a very bright thread, just to be a little bit clearer on the technique and the way we do it. So you'd start your thread as usual, cover the hook shank, make sure all those wraps are right next to each other. I'll put a link in below to another tip on how to cover a hook shank and what not to do when you cover a hook shank. It's a beginner's tip, but it's a very useful tip when you if you know how to use it. Simple things that will just make your fly a lot more durable. Anyway, so you normally would wrap the thread to the back where your tail needs to start, will be exposed, and tie it in from there to the front. I use a different technique. I start my tail pretty much in the middle. I'm just going to use a coq-de-lion feather with a few barbs from a coq-de-lion feather, and show you how to do that. Now, also, when you tie a tail, it doesn't matter what tail it is and what fly it is, whether it's a streamer or a little nymph like this, a dry fly, whatever. Never tie the tail in from there to the back, because then you're going to have a little bit of bulk here. It's going to step down where the abdomen should actually be tapering a little bit wider. Always tie it in from behind where the thorax would start. So we're going to tie it in right there. You stop your thread there. You've still got about 4 or 5 wraps that you need to make towards the back. You tie it in right there, and the wrap that traps the material, the tail material, must be right next to the last wrap around the hook shank. So what happens here is the wraps all of them are right next to each other. The only difference is the last few wraps have material underneath them, but you don't cut that bit of material off that's exposed there towards the front. So from there, your last few wraps are on the hook shank, over the tail, and on a bare hook shank to the back. There's 2 wraps, and there's the tail. What you can do, if you want that tail to split, the fibers to split a bit, you can make 1 wrap underneath, pull that tight underneath, and those fibers will open up a little bit. From there you go forward, right next to each other, and you trap all those other materials, those tag ends. Trap that there. Now you've got a pretty even surface to work on and to build the rest of your fly on. So you can wrap from there, you can wrap back again. In that you can make open wraps, because that shouldn't slide onto the the thread shouldn't slide on each other, and 1 layer onto each other, and from there, when you tie your material again, your abdomen, whether it's quill or dubbing or whatever you use, you close the wraps again and make tight wraps and build your body up, your abdomen up to the point where you will be tying your thorax. I hope this tip helped you a bit. Look out for other tips in our fly tying how-to page or channel. Please like the channel, please follow the channel, and also check out all the other channels like the fly tying channel where we do various fly recipes.